how did you establish yourself, and how do you brand yourself? You advertise. I know I've seen your website with
Yep.
some previous talks that you have. So
Hmm.
what other branding do you do? And yeah, just talk a little bit about your brand as a speaker.
Yeah, that's a very important question, Chifewa. Thanks for asking it. I mean, public speaking has a lot to do with branding, especially as an up and coming public speaker. You're starting out in the profession and you're trying to establish yourself. A big part of what you will do and the opportunities you will get in the public speaking arena has to do with branding. People must think of you as a public speaker, and you should be able to provide that evidence. You should not wait also for people to ask for that evidence for you to present it. And so then that's the branding aspect. And so, as you've mentioned, there are certain things that I believe are minimum and are absolute non-negotiables for a person who wants to make it in the public speaking arena. And so for me, when I did the homework, I tend to do this every year. I will take about 3 days where I don't do anything else. I go off on a retreat and I plan my life and review how I've done in the previous year. And so public speaking comes into that review plan and that moment that I take, stock of where I am and where I'm going. So when I did that, I think a few years back, maybe 5, 6 years back, I realized that, okay, I've given a number of talks, a lot of talks, and people appreciate the content that I'm giving. However, in the marketplace, people don't know me as a public speaker. It's not
Yeah.
something that is as established. So what can I do? And so the number one thing that I realized was the website. If you are going into public speaking in any way, shape, or form, you have to have a website. Some speakers get away with it at least because they can affiliate themselves with professional speaking associations where they can profile that speaker. In
Yeah.
whatever way, shape, or form, have a website. And you can use the 80-20 rule. It doesn't have to be this groundbreaking, amazing, perfect website. But just having it will have such a dramatic impact on your reach and credibility. So that's a starting point, website. The other branding that I do is using social media. And with social media, the trick for public speakers is to be present in as many platforms as possible. You'll find someone who's just maybe only available on Instagram, someone who's just only available on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's not good enough. When you want to sell yourself, you want to sell yourself across these various platforms. Be there on YouTube, be there on Facebook, be there on LinkedIn, Twitter,
Yeah.
be there on Instagram. Why? Because one of the things that is very interesting about public speaking is you don't always know necessarily where your next gig is going to come from.
That's
And
true.
you want to almost make yourself available so people know you and people are exposed to you so that when the gig comes up for them, they can think of you. So
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I have worked a lot on Facebook in terms of developing myself there, branding myself, sharing my content. A lot of my content is shared through Facebook. But what is strange for me is that the reach and impact I have through Facebook is not commensurate, or at least doesn't compare with the reach and impact I have on LinkedIn. But I have not invested as much effort on LinkedIn. In fact, LinkedIn, I used to avoid LinkedIn. But when I put one example, I mean, I have more friends on Facebook than I have on LinkedIn. I think I have now 3,000 connections on LinkedIn. In the last 2 weeks, I put up 2 posts on LinkedIn. Each of those posts have had views of over 30,000. Now, if you think about branding and people who are seeing this post, it is creating an image in their minds about who I am. And many of the opportunities I'll get will come from people who see those posts. I mean, it's executives, it's people in senior positions of very large organizations, JSE listed organizations, because you get the breakdown of that. So you need to be across multiple platforms. That's one key aspect. And then you want to create regular content. What that says, Chifewa, is that you must start recording yourself.
Okay.
It's not good enough to just write an article and say you're a great speaker. You speak about excellence, you speak about client relations, you speak about leadership. You need to show it. And
Yeah.
when you show it, people start believing it. And you need to share it widely across your different platforms, and you need to share it consistently because that starts reinforcing that idea that you are a good speaker. Then let's go to the end of it. Let's say you've done such brilliant branding and now people are starting to get interest in you. You must have content and value that you really add as a speaker. That is going to be a big part of your branding, where people know that if we invite Tafiwa to come and speak, we are going to get high quality content. We are going to get an energetic delivery. We are going to get a moving presentation and something that actually we can act on. Because then that starts becoming part of your brand.